Okay, I was sharing the screen and then now I stopped. Oh, there we go.
All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. I see a few people rolling in and out of the room here. We're going to get started with Huntington Ingalls now. And joining us this afternoon are Victor Deal, Brendan McElroan, and Stephen Moore. So with that, gentlemen, take it away. You have the floor until 2:40 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen Moore, and I am with Mission Technologies, a division of HII, and I am going to talk to you about force protection through publicly available information, or PAI. So we'll go ahead and get started. So HII, you probably have heard of us before, but probably in reference to us being the nation's largest shipbuilding company. So, and we are split up into three different organizations: Newport News Shipbuilding, that actually builds and is the only developer or builder of aircraft carriers. And then we also have Ingalls Shipbuilding, who is the largest supplier of U.S. Navy combatants, surface combatants as well. But our third division, which I am a part of, is actually Mission Technologies. So, and Mission Technologies is our newest part of the company, and it's expected to grow to about 25% of the company, where we are delivering technical solutions directly to the war fighters. So, and what we focus on, and we have a large investment in RDT&E, and what we are doing is taking basically the DoD investment, and we transitioned over $1 billion of DoD investment through RDT and made that transition to be operational solutions. So we have about 7,500 employees in our group, and 50% of those are engineers and scientists, and then 35% are military veterans. So Mission Technologies as a whole, so as I was kind of mentioning, so we're going to be focusing on what we're doing with the publicly available information, but we do spread AI and ML throughout our group. So we support missions in the C5 ISR domain, where we actually put contractors on the ground in different environments and support various missions throughout the world. We have our cyber EW and space domain, and then we do a lot of work on autonomy as well. And I know there have been a lot of presentations with respect to that, where we developed a REMIS platform that is supported. And also from a simulation perspective, we are the prime contractor for the Navy continuous training environment, supporting live virtual constructive training for U.S. Navy fleet training specifically. And then also we are supporting fleet readiness as well as nuclear environment and environmental support. So jumping right into what we're going to be talking about today is really about force protection. So we look at the domain of force protection in multiple different facets, but focusing on the U.S. Navy specifically. The U.S. Navy, from our perspective, and we've seen it many times in the past, the U.S. Navy ships are ambassadors. They go to different ports of call, just like this picture in the top right there, that's focused on the USS Jackson making a port visit in Manila, Philippines. So, and what we're looking at is, can we use social media, social forums, and traditional news to provide the analytics with respect to the population sentiment? Is the local population happy with our presence there in that local region? And then also, we'll talk about this a little bit more, is starting to capture those metrics. Just like when private industry is actually marketing or selling their products with commercials, how do we measure that? And that's a lot of that is now transitioning to being able to collect publicly available information specifically to be able to have those measures. So then going a little bit further in Palau, you could see the sailor there getting very close to the Palauan coast. And again, looking there to see, okay, in social media, can we derive indications and warnings about possible hostile actions? And the Navy very often transits through constrained waterways. And that bottom picture is actually the USS Eisenhower transitioning through the Suez Canal. And you could see on both sides there how close the land is. So looking ahead, how can we use social media and publicly available information to really try to see, is there a risk for my carrier or my ship to be transiting through this restricted waters? And we also see this in going around the Straits of Hormuz or any other restricted waterways where there isn't really a lot of a space for our naval vessels to really maneuver. So PAI, what I'm really getting to, is very signal rich. So we can gather all that information, publicly available information, and say, okay, what do we have out there? Can we really exploit that to get and derive the information we're really looking for? So as you can see on the left, yes, we found some relevant hits in a news channel. Hey, that they are talking about the goodwill of the USS Jackson coming into port in Manila, but that's in Filipino. How can we actually interpret that? And linguists are very hard to come by sometimes. So I can't speak Filipino, but we have to use tools to help translate those solutions as well and what the information is that we find. And there are millions of these documents. And the challenge really with PAI across the board is not that it's available, but how can we pull that in and really find it and really obtain the data that we're looking for in a reasonable amount of time? So finding the right data at the right time to really have an impact on the mission. And then we talk about operational.
Okay, folks, stand by. Obviously, Steve had a little hiccup there.
What's that?
Back online.
Okay. All right.
You guys are echoing each other, so one of you needs to can your connection.
Oh, you're back in.
I'm back in now. Okay. Let me try to share again real quick. And I can speed back up here. All right, let me try to share. Hopefully everyone can hear me again now, but I will speed up to make sure that I can go a little bit faster. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I will jump back in and hopefully everyone was able to at least see this part of my screen. So I was kind of talking about operational security here, and that we found some of that information, again, showing where the ports were specifically and where the USS Jackson was in Manila specifically, and being able to find that information. So what I wanted to talk about is our PAI exploitation platform. So we're building these capabilities and we're providing the services to really build a platform, and this is deployed. And what we're doing is really taking a lot of this and bringing in the data, the video, the radio, social media, vectorizing a lot of that data to make it quickly searchable in a way that it can be found much more quickly by clustering the data in a way that our analysts can really find it. And again, providing that pertinent information very rapidly to the decision maker so they can make a decision based upon the information that they have. So some of the other aspects of this is also providing the persistent monitoring and the intelligence products from all this information too. So again, not just providing the data, but also being able to then exploit this data to provide the information and to be able to show the information to those decision makers in a way that it is relevant for them to make the decisions. So, and as we move forward, we also go through and we do the deep signal analysis from different tools to search websites specifically, again, bringing in various different types of data and being able to do sentiment analysis as well as polarity to see what kind of sentiment and how certain regions of the world are basically slanted on specific kinds of messaging. And then again, trying to cluster, where identifying biometrics, education levels, sentiment influence, and then also looking into some of that cyber threat information. Again, getting indications and warnings of some of that information or data that may be present, not on common media sources, but in the dark web kind of information spaces. So where are we today? So from today's perspective, we are collecting big data and we are ingesting it, various data sources, so Reddit, different kinds of news, helping support collecting data for on our behalf to help our customers to really look at that data and to be able to make decisions from it. We're using a deep learning natural language processing to do narrative extraction in batch to search really and provide indications and warning. We're able to do bot detection, again, identify different influences, and then try to identify disinformation and also try to find gaps where disinformation may be coming in, but where we can target to counteract some of that disinformation as well and perform targeted search, look at character creator traits, threat behavior. Again, how is that evolving? Looking at larger human landscapes and groups, actors, rankings, and really digesting and walking through the different sources of PAI and going through millions of documents a day and really collecting that. And what we like to say is we're not trying to really go through everything, but we're trying to find the nuggets or the details, the needle in a haystack of haystacks, to be able to get that relevant information that has an impact and that really is relevant to the decision maker at that point in time to make those decisions. So as we were kind of talking about earlier, so you could see here on the right side that we have that news report, but using the automated tools again to basically translate a lot of that. And if you're familiar with a lot of the Amazon Web Services and Alexas and things of that nature, so all those services are available. So what we're providing is a native multilingual search, but then leverages a lot of Amazon Web Services, and actually reduces the cost, but because it only does translation at the point of need. So what I mean by that is when the translation does occur, is it does store the information, so the translation doesn't have to happen again, because translation costs can really grow very exponentially very quickly. And what we try to focus on as well is providing that search within seconds of a posting. So we're constantly monitoring different social media aspects and working with vendors to be able to bring in those data feeds that we're able to really respond to that and allow that data to be searchable within seconds. We support translation, a single English language query to search in many different languages, again, and being able to provide those results in those different languages. So, and when we do the search, we're able to find out the polarity and bias education level of the actors, and we're clustering those documents, as I mentioned before as well. And we're doing geo-inferencing, so when spoofing comes into play, where the data is coming from, we're able to very quickly identify specific information on how those messages were written so we can do geographic inferencing as well. So, and one of our strengths here is really on the vendor agnostic common platform that we provide, is that we bring in a lot of third-party data sources, and we enrich those sources with a lot of machine learning algorithms and tools that we have that may be provided by others as well, and we use our own. But the platform, we bring it into a unified data model. We then have an API gateway to really enable this platform to be used not only by our team, but to actually allow access from multiple vendors as well as we bring this all together in a unified data model. So we understand that we have our user interface that we provide, but also that other users may want to use their other tools like Tableau or Kibana or whatever other tools, Jupyter Notebooks, to do those detailed analysis of the data that they want to see or be able to find. And again, the goal is to identify the data specifically to help the decision makers, and that's what we're trying to help with. So, and then finally on our side, what we're really trying to do is make the request to the Department of the Navy really is to help us show you the usage of the PAI platform as a service, so that we can make a mission-specific instantiation and make a small investment into a PAI exploitation integrated experiment. And thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it. My name is Stephen Moore, and I'm with HII Mission Technologies. Thanks.
Stephen and and Vic, thanks so much for that today. I hadn't thought of that particular application, so it's got my head spinning. Appreciate it. And you were absolutely right. Would not have thought of that coming from HII, right? Because it doesn't look like a boat. But anyhow, that said, folks, Huntington will be given a report of everyone who attended this afternoon. They'll have the capacity then to reach out to you individually or in mass as they see fit. Appreciate your attention throughout their presentation today. We'll see you on the flip side in 5 minutes for our next presentation. Thanks so much.